I'd like to thank you all for visiting this South settlement. My name is Nebeel, الشيخ. I am retired now from the MAM Regional Museum in Saudi, and I was working with the British archaeology team in 1993 and 1995. And anyhow, I think you're all familiar with Delmon. You have Delmon Diary, Delmon Club, Delmon Hotels. But what's really Delmon is? Delmon, really, we don't know much about Delmon in Bahrain. The name Delmon has come from Mesopotamia, from tablet written about Delmon and gods of Delmon, and mention so many things about Delmon that it's heaven on earth, or the Garden of Eden on earth, and gods of Sumer or Mesopotamia, they were born in this little island which is called Delmon. So very deep history around, very rich little island, 60 by 40 kilometers long and wide, thousands and thousands of burial mounds. I don't know how many left of that, maybe 60.
14,000.
Okay. Anyhow, okay, more people coming. I just start now. It's alright, didn't miss much. So when they start building the highway and connected to Saudi and Bahrain, they cut through some grave, which is the honeycomb grave. So that was early knowing about this settlement. People, archaeologists didn't walk around, everything like that, find out pottery and shell, and said, wow, this is archaeological site. So the archaeology team, some Arab local archaeologists, they started excavating in the honeycomb, and then later on continue to the complex of graves. And then the Indian team did start to excavate the highest area, which was the temple in the center. Unfortunately, the report wasn't, I don't think it was published. Anyhow, in I don't know which year, the British archaeology team, Dr. Robert and Jane Moon, they did come, and they were looking for Bronze Age. They were excavating a long time ago in Mesopotamia, but because of the Gulf War, they moved to Bahrain, and they found that settlement, and they loved with the site, and they got the permission to excavate, and they call it SAR 2000, because they will start from 1990 till the year 2000, 10 years project. And every year they will come in the winter, 1 month and a half to 2 months maximum to excavate. So this is like 10 years of work. They are not using bulldozer or just spoon and shovel and little things to excavate all this. And of course all this sand comes from Saudi. It's just shifting sand all the years to cover this settlement. So anyhow, so what we have is a major road. So anyhow, the British archaeology team with the Bahraini team, they excavate the area, and what we discovered is a settlement. It's a Delmon, Delmon village. In Mesopotamia, the history or the report of Delmon written about 3,200 BC before Christ, so almost 5,200. This is the Nasr period in Mesopotamia. So that's the earliest record of Delmon. Not over here. We didn't find any earlier than 2,500 BC. So where is the real Delmon? Could be in Saudi. We have out of sight in Saudi. Go back to that period. We have the root also in Saudi. We have the Bahrain burial mound here also in Saudi. So many things probably start in Saudi. We don't know yet. We need to continue excavating in Saudi, but so many things under new settlement and new buildings, and a lot of things been bulldozed also, unfortunately, a long time ago. So anyhow, and the middle Delmon started after the finishing or the end of SAR, about 1750 BC. The people, they locked their doors with the stones and they just disappeared. We don't know where went to, maybe the mainland or we just vanished. No trace of, and what's the reason? We don't know. Drought, dry season, all the water levels went down, and solved. The earliest site not far from here where the cemetery or the trees go back to Ubaid period, which is go back like 5,000 or 4,500 to 5,000 something BC. This is early settlement that show connection, trade between Mesopotamia and in the Gulf, which is not far from here. Just a small site with a greenish, yellowish pottery. That's a Stone Age. Now we are here in the Bronze Age. Anyhow, we have a main road going down. You can walk. Mostly is what we call L-shaped houses. 1 room, 2 rooms, 3 rooms. That's a big, nice size if it was a 3-room house. So this is a standard now, L-shaped. You enter and then the room could be covered by wood, palm trees, leaf, and you have a little garden, and the kitchen normally is outside the tannoor where they're making, cooking bread or fish or something. This expand the area, they continue going to another house. The family always, all the time, getting bigger, so they have to build another room or another house, as the local people doing these days in the village in Arabia. So this is the main road. We have another main road going to the cemetery. All these houses made of limestone, locally been collected. You can see high ground, that's bedrock, and then lower ground and a lot of sand in this settlement. About 80 houses fully excavated by the British archaeology team, and a lot of restoration. It's not easy job to restore a site like this. So the restoration always every year almost coming and restore all these houses. These houses, of course, are much higher. The temple was the highest in this settlement. So we have here it's what this circular thing is what they are making the juice, the blaster. So from the blaster they are cutting the walls, and sometimes over there you see their fingerprint while they are fixing the wall. But sometimes with restoration some damage or they covered that without knowing what they are doing. So anyhow, so some of the jewels, they bring the gypsum and they use the water and they make it under the fire and they break it through and to make the blaster with water. This is one example. And sometimes from the kitchen, a lot of ashes, so they add water and they will just cack. They put the cacking the wall with the blaster with this ashes, so you see the kitchen is a black color. That's from the ashes.
صحيح. طبعا اليوم تاريخ 21 يونيو، يوم الانقلاب الشمسي أو السنة الدلمونية. طبعا أطول يوم نهار وأقصر ليل. وهذه مستوطنة سرار وما فيها من بيوت مع الأستاذ نبيل.
As I mentioned, a lot of houses has a blaster, and this is a good example of the blaster. This is possible a storage room. Could be they are storing date or date syrup. You can see their hand fixing the blaster. So this is about 4,000 years, the movement of the hand to make the plaster.
ما شاء الله.
Local limestone from the bedrock, which is go back to the Eocene age, about 45 to 55 million years. So sometimes you walk, you could find econoid shell fossils around this area.
استاذ يعني هذا مو شغل الترميم؟
لا في ترميم من فوق, the restoration up, and luckily they saved that section.
ما شاء الله.
And you could see, you could tell if it's been restored. It's a new light color. So this is shows the restoration of most of the restoration done by the Bahraini team. Thanks to Dr. Mahari, he did a wonderful job. Always, every time he come and just check the whole, not only Bahrain, I mean not only Sar settlement. He go around and make sure everything is in order. So anyhow, this is one of the biggest house. It has a big garden and some storage room also. Sorry, this is the one with the storage room. So this is the biggest house in the settlement. So what we call a merchant house probably. 4 storage rooms. And then another garden or house to keep the animal, or a small garden. It's hard to tell. And most of the time when you enter, you'll find the what you call basin. Could be for washing hands. Down there we're gonna go now is the water well. And the only water well in the settlement that they discovered. Hello.
Wonderful to be here.
Oh, thank you.
This a video call showing people where I am.
All right.
طبعا هناك البيت الكبير، شكل الغني مالهم هناك.
Did change a few things.
Yeah. That's new. The fence is new since the last time we were here.
Yeah, okay.
طبعا كل سنة في تاريخ 21 يونيو في هذا الانقلاب الشمسي. طبعا الانقلاب الشمسي مو بس موجود في البحرين، أيضا ممكن يزور مصر يتكلمون عن هذا الانقلاب الشمسي.
Hello.
Go time.
What we have here is the water well, the only water well discovered in this settlement. Possible there is more, we don't know yet. This settlement is not the only Delmon town or a village or a city. There's a few at البحرين or Bahrain fort, at also Diraz, and also at just behind the causeway, I mean the highway, this highway, there is another settlement and a little bit bigger than this. This is about 22,500 square meters, and where the stone of the water well, it's about 7 meters high from the sea level. The site is about 4 kilometers to the shoreline, and about maybe 7 kilometers or 6 to Tubli Bay, and about I think 5 or 6 to البحرين fort. Why they choose the location, we don't know. Must be the source, of course, of the water. And but please notice the sand. This is the sand, as I said, come from Saudi because of the wind. So in 1996, I was walking somewhere here, and now I've come to the theory of the summer solstice in Delmon New Year. So in 1996, I was walking in June, this lovely weather, and I noticed exactly where the sun is going, sinking not far from the temple. All over the world, there is, in their religion or their, I mean, they are into astronomy. At night, they have the stars to watch, and with this movement of stars and the sun and the moon, people they have a calendar. It takes 365 days for the sun or the summer solstice, because the earth is going around the sun, takes 365 days. And what Delmon breathes, so in that time, is the movement of the sun. You have 50 degree to the summer Celsius, and then go back to the winter Celsius. 50 degree only movement, that's the axle, the movement of the axle of the earth. So anyhow, so I said, okay, I had to come next year on 1997 to witness if I'm right or wrong, to see the sun will sink on that corner of the temple. This temple have a unusual corner pointing to the northwest. This is north and that's the west, so northwest, pointing and unusual. This is really unique temple that we will enter now and see. So let's walk to the temple, and please notice the sand and some movement on the walls, how they are leaning. They are not really straight. David. Yeah, thank you. Good to see you.
طبعا يشرح الاستاذ الحرشي في هذا اليوم اطول نهار واقصر ليل. يعتقدون ان هذا هو مرصد فلكي، واليوم تبدا السنه الدلمونيه خلال هذا الوقت، وانحراف الشمس يكون اقصى انحراف موجود. موصل يا استاذ. هذا المعبد او المرصد الفلكي الدلموني.
Okay. We are in 4,000 years temple and settlement. So please try not to pick up any pottery or stones or anything, or walk on the stones. You don't want some collapsed wall. I mean, it took years to restore the site and maintain the site. So that would be nice to walk on the wall. Okay, what happens is one door, and the north wall is about 17 meters long, 11 and something the south wall, and 6 meters and 20 meters the east wall, and I think 11 meters the west wall. The doors about 1 meter and 10 centimeters, the two doors for the room and the main entrance. The tooth altar, this is one, the earliest altar, and then the second altar. Later on we build the second altar, and has a shape that they say it could be for the horn of a bull or for the moon, question mark. But I come and say, why not also to be for the sun? So I changed a few things. So I said maybe it's a stand for the sun, because I believe Delmon were worshipping Utu, that's the sun during the Mesopotamian time. So anyhow, but of course, before this, I noticed this room, which is abnormal room, which is pointing to the summer solstice on the 21st of June. So please, you could walk and see the sun is moving, So it's getting close. Later on, it will be almost to that corner. But unfortunately, we have more houses covering the sunset. So normally we still have like 20 minutes, more than 20 minutes. لا مع هذا. Okay. So anyhow. No, in that corner. So it could be there's a hole or a small window. The sun is very weak to hit this, but we were shipping something. So that ship could be for the sun. That's possible.
This arc, was it more?
No, only this one and that one, nothing more. So this is my theory. This altar, all the two altars have ashes of fish bone. So offering for their god. Thank God he's a peaceful god. Only the fish bone and some gazelle bone also. So anyhow, this temple was, as I said, this is the highest building in the settlement, and it was covered by wood. We saw traces of plaster from the ceiling, so we know it's covered. We don't know how this room functioned, but what I noticed is pointing to the summer Celsius every year on the 21st of June, pointing directly to the sunset. In Europe, in UK now, Stonehenge, it's sunrise. Thousands and thousands of people coming, more than 25,000 probably, every year to witness the sunrise. Here, sunset. And so now the priests have a calendar. He will calculate 365 days for the sun to go back to the exact corner. So with a calendar, you will organize your whole life. The farming, the sailing, fishing, everything. So Delmon wasn't that only trade. They are into astronomy. And in Mesopotamia, they are following the sun also. They have Zamu festival, it's equinox, on the 21st of March, and then later on, Alam, which is in civilization in Iran, they follow that and they call it New Year, Nowruz Day, which is also equinox and on 21st of March. In Egypt, they follow the Ceres star. It's also yearly cycle. And just before the horizon to rise, and then the river of Nile, the water will go up. So it's also a yearly calendar. In India also they have a calendar, but we are not fully aware what or how they are following the time. So anyhow, so if you have a calendar, as I said, your life would be very simple and being organized. So I'm just trying to find, we still have like 20 minutes for the sunset. So in, yes please, any question?
What if, I'm looking at it like as a symbol, that notch over there at this time shone right through, maybe? There's a pillar in the way.
Yeah.
I do wonder why that, as you say.
I know, but the sun was very weak. If it was sunrise, I come here sunrise, sunset, all the equinox, winter and summer. I have only that corner, and just pointing to somewhere. The British archaeology team, they said, no, this is a storage room. Yes, we find so many things to show it's a storage room. Also here, there was another room, all depression of a storage room. But yeah, you need this corner only for 1 year, 1 day a year. And if I'm correct, yeah, I mean, some people say yes, they say question mark. In Bahrain, Delmon, they haven't left us any written about Delmon come from Mesopotamia. So this is unique. The structure of the building is different than a barbar temple. This is just special temple pointing to the summer Celsius. This wall, the north wall, there is the way it's built. is going in an angle, and somehow it's not finishing the wall like a normal box. It will end there. This wall of the room going and create the west wall. So the west wall is one wall inside this room, which is question mark. How you will do that? So this wall is continue on this one wall.
صحيح.
And that wall was, if you go outside, separated from that. So now I told you, be careful and watch the sand. There's a lot of sand in the side. They built the temple on, there's no foundation. There is no, so there's movement on the side, movement on the temple. So there's like almost 10 degrees or less shift. But you can see the pillar is leaning. So just a little, because of the sand, you have high ground and low ground. The whole site just a little bit tilt to the lower ground. So the ground is not stable. And that's why this wall is not connected to the west wall. Because they were facing the same problem. There is because of the movement, so they have to knock down this wall and rebuild the corner to correct the angle of the sunset. Got my point?
Yes.
All right. So the ground is not stable. The sand has been built on the sand. The sand is not stable. So it's movement. There is a local movement. So you can see the pillar is leaning. It's not straight like what it should be. So if you go to the south wall, they add another wall to keep it not to collapse. And also the west wall, they add another layer not to collapse. So the ground is not stable. So that's why my idea, they did not connect this wall with the main wall like a normal house. I mean, you cannot, this is a temple, you cannot make a mistake. So please, you could walk and see the sunset before it disappears behind the building. It's moving from left, from up all the way to the maximum, which today is the longest day of the year.
هذا هو أقصى انحراف.
So, den ich will ein Foto von dir machen. Von mir? So, die Leute stehen ja alle im Bild. Dreh das mal um. Mal so, von vorne.
Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter,
Incredible.
the Moon, Neptune, and Saturn.
Yeah.
All
So
in
if you
a-
wait,
all in a line.
yeah, if you
down.
wait almost, yeah. If you wait, you will see so many things. And of course, these days there is what you call the so many wood. What you call? I'm using sky. See down, you can see there's solar system, sun. It's pointing to the sun. You could see almost.
الدلموني يعتقدون ولا نبيل يعتقد ان هذه الغرفه هي غرفه مرصد يرصد فيها بدايه السنه الدلمونيه ومن هذا الانحراف هون الشمس في اقصى انحراف طبعا الشمال الغربي اقصى انحراف موجود الى اليوم. هذا دليل او يفترض انه هو دليل على انه